Some of you are spending so much time and so much energy rebuking the devil in your finances. But what if I told you that what you're facing is not spiritual warfare? It's actually disobedience. See, you're praying for the enemy to leave your finances alone, but ignoring the very thing that will unlock financial overflow in your life. Let's talk about what I like to call the Jonah effect and how running from God is draining your finances. Let's go. Welcome. If it's your first time here, a double welcome to you. Over here, we talk about faith and finances. And if that is something that interests you, I want you to subscribe. I want you to join the family here on YouTube. And I want you to share this video with someone that you think would be interested in becoming a better financial steward. Now, today we are talking about the story of Jonah. And I want to go to scripture right away. Let's go to the book of Jonah right at the top of the book, chapter 1, verse 1, and it reads, Now the word of the Lord came to Jonah, saying, Arise, go to Nineveh, that great city, and cry against it, for their wickedness has come before me. But Jonah arose to flee to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. Imagine that. He wanted to flee from the presence of the Lord. He went to Joppa and found a ship going to Tarshish. So he paid the fare and went down in it to go with them to Tarshish from the presence of the Lord. Now that sounds crazy, right? Running from the presence of the Lord. But how many of us do this? Like, how many of us do this even in our daily lives? Running from the presence of God, like he can't find us wherever we go. So using the story of Jonah, let's talk about some of the costs of disobedience, right? Number one, disobedience is financially costly. Now, if we go back to the scripture, we read where Jonah he actually paid for his fare to get on the ship to go the opposite direction of what God had called him to do, right? He took money out of his very own pocket, paid the people at the ship, right, to get on there and run away from God. I want to tell you that running from our assignment is costly financially. Think about some of the ways in your life where disobedience is costly. Are you spending money maintaining a lifestyle that God did not call you to build? Are you delaying paying off debt in your life when you know God told you to pay off your debt and it's 3 years down the line? You've paid so much interest related to that debt just because you choose to pay the minimum balances and spend the rest of the money frivolously. And that's costly. It'll cost you in peace. It'll cost you in interest. And when you're out of alignment, your money just seems to leak. It just seems to slip through your hands. So many times it's not a spiritual attack. Many times your financial distress is just caused by mismanagement and disobedience. Now, if we go back to scripture and we go to the next verse, verse 4, it says that the Lord sent a great wind into the sea, and there was a mighty tempest on the sea. It was so bad that the ship was about to be broken up. So the storm, it wasn't just because of bad weather. The storm is because the storm was directly attached to Jonah's disobedience. So the second cost of disobedience is that disobedience creates storms. And that's deep. And in our discussion, since we talk about finances, disobedience will create unnecessary financial storms. Some financial storms are self-inflicted, Has God been calling you to begin to save and you've ignored that leading? And because you ignored that leading, you have no emergency funds. And so when you do actually have an emergency, it becomes chaos. When you delay disobedience, you create turbulence. And in verse 5, it says that everybody on the ship was afraid. Every man cried out to his own God, right? To his God, crying out for their life to be saved. They threw cargo, meaning stuff was lost, into the sea just to save their own lives. They literally were throwing money, throwing valuable things overboard so that they could save their lives. And they didn't even know that the person that caused the storm was asleep inside the ship. So a third way that disobedience is costly is that it doesn't just affect you, I'll give you an example. Let's say you have kids and God has been telling you to save for their college, but you made a decision to spend excess money frivolously, and now it's time for college and your child has to get a loan to put themselves through college. Now you're creating generational debt because of your disobedience. Disobedience affects more than just yourself. If you notice in the ship, Jonah was actually asleep. So he was like, I'll die, we're all gonna die, right? He just dug his heels in. But so many other people were affected by his disobedience. And even as an entrepreneur, if God called you to build something, he called you to the marketplace and you delay building it, your delay delays provision for other people. You could become an employer and employ kingdom people. You could be creating a program that helps people make more money. You could be creating a product that helps people heal. And in a sense, when they heal and their health is better, they can make more money. But you're delaying. And so your disobedience is attached to their lack of provision. Have you ever thought about that? So now I want you to ask yourself, if you're feeling financially stuck, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Did God tell me to start something financially or stop something financially, like pay off debt or start creating a financial plan, a spending plan? Did God tell me to give and I've been disobedient? Did God tell me to simplify and cut down my spending and I've been disobedient? Have I ignored it? See, those are the type of questions that you need to ask yourself. And if the answer is yes to any of those, you are misaligned. But the goal here is not to condemn you. The goal here is to correct you and set you back on the right path to financial structure, financial clarity, and financial overflow. If this video is hitting you in some kind of way, you're feeling a conviction in some kind of way, then you know that God is calling you to really begin to structure your finances better, to get clarity in your finances, to become a better steward of your finances. And the same God that was merciful to Jonah, because Jonah could have died in that storm, right? They threw him overboard, but God was merciful. That same God that was merciful to Jonah is merciful to you. And he's saying, give up the fight, stop being disobedient, follow my instructions, and surrender to my biblical principles for money, surrender to better stewardship, surrender to discipline in your finances, surrender to whatever he is specifically calling you to do. Procrastinating time is over. No run into Tarshish when he called you to Nineveh. Do what God told you to do. And trust me, you will begin to see overflow in that area that you've been stuck in financially for a long time.